fear the world we have organized and led the 3/4 of a century to abandon the ideals we have advanced around the globe, to refuse the obligations of international leadership and our duty to remain the last best hope of Earth for the sake of some half-baked, spurious nationalism cooked up by people who would rather find scapegoats than solve problems. Is as unpatriotic as an attachment to any other tired dogma of the past that Americans consigned to the ash heap of history. We live in a land made of ideals, not blood and soil.
An emotional Senator John McCain last night as he was awarded the prestigious Liberty Medal. He reflected on his years of service while putting a laser focus on today's political climate. Joe?
An incredible moment and incredible man, Mike Barnicle. John McCain certainly has not slowed down through the years. In fact, he's gotten tougher, and his words have become more pointed and more important, especially in 2017. And last night, what a speech. We ask all the time where the statesmen are. We ask all the time where our leaders are. We ask all the time where Republicans are who are courageous, who will stand up to what is happening in the White House and what is happening across Washington. Well, there he is, and that's what he's done. And he's done it now for the overwhelming majority of his adult life. God bless John McCain.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed, Joe. And again, I would urge everyone watching this morning to go out. You can Google the speech. You can read it in 6 or 7 minutes. It was a brief speech. But in that speech, John McCain was John McCain. He spoke about our ideals as a nation, our history, our values, our enduring impression around the world that we have made, the fact that we have been around the world fighting on behalf of freedom and always left every place we've ever been, never claimed territory, came back home with our own ideals. And Josh Ernst, I don't know about you, but when I read that speech, I felt such a sadness, such an overwhelming feeling of sadness for what is lacking today in terms of dialogue in Washington, D.C.
Well, Mike, I think that's one of the reasons that it stands out is that it wasn't just an eloquent speech, but it was an opportunity for him to express the kind of sentiment about our country and our history and the exceptionalism of the United States of America that we so rarely hear in Washington, D.C. these days. And Senator McCain is in a position where he can speak about it authoritatively because he put his life on the line to defend it. He has crossed party lines here in Washington, D.C., even when it wasn't popular, to try to advance it. And look, for all of the political differences, and I don't want to minimize them, that I and other members of the Obama administration had with Senator McCain, there was always this esteem and respect that despite our differences, he at least somebody who got up every morning motivated most of all by his love and patriotism for the United States of America. And that's worthy of our respect, particularly in an era in our politics where there seems to be this strong attachment to partisan identity, this desire to try to escape criticism, including from the Twitter stream of the current President of the United States. Senator McCain doesn't have any time to mess with any of that because he's focused on the best interest of the country, and that's laudable.
And Josh, your old boss, President Obama, tweeted last night, "I'm grateful to Senator John McCain for his lifetime of service to our country," and congratulated Senator McCain on the award. Casey Hunt, next week actually will be the 50th anniversary of John McCain being shot down over North Vietnam, and then of course being held at the Hanoi Hilton for 5.5 years. I think what we've talked about this morning is why didn't Mitch McConnell speak up as he stood next to Donald Trump, or why did he stand next to Donald Trump to begin with? Why doesn't Paul Ryan speak up more? We're learning over the last year what people stand for. Do you believe all the things you say? Are you a man of honor? Are you a man of duty? Are you a man who sticks by the things he said he believes all his life? And we're finding in this case that John McCain does.
I think that's right, Willie. And I think John McCain right now is a man who is thinking about his life in the broadest terms possible. He is, of course, battling this cancer, and that is something that I think, he's pulling back kind of the lens and looking at, and you mentioned he was shot down 50 years ago. I mean, the life that this man has lived is it's a story that, quite frankly, we don't have in a lot of our other elected representatives. And, I would say as well, I mean, that's one of the major challenges I think our country faces, is that the people that are interested in coming to Washington to work in the Senate or to work in the House, they don't necessarily bring the same kinds of backgrounds, and that's a lot due to the nature of our politics today, and I think that's something that goes undercovered.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Josh Earnest, thank you very much. And coming up, President Trump, in need of a legislative win and trying to patch up a rocky relationship, claims he and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell are, quote, closer than ever before. But what about what he said just 2 hours earlier? Plus, Senator Joe Manchin says Congress was, quote, fooled into supporting a bill that prevented the DEA from stemming the opioid epidemic. The senator joins us this morning. Morning Joe is coming right back.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.